Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Thursday, the 14th of January, 2021. It is now 12 midday, or a minute past 12 midday in Sydney, Australia. So I will just wait a moment for people to jump on. This is live streaming, and welcome to Ms Tique's live TV. I'll just, as I said, I'll just a bit of housekeeping in the beginning. If people can like and share the live feed, so we can share the love and get a few more people who we can help worldwide is what I want to say there. So like and share the feed. And also too, a little hint, we can see when you've actually shared. So yeah, and I don't take offense to nobody who doesn't share. However, sharing and embracing what I do and what I do, virtually at no charge, is then reciprocated as such in readings and connecting with spirit. And so I just want to spend a moment to share it to a few groups as well, since everyone's on board doing that. Such an awesome way to kick off the show, and welcome everybody who's joining. I will go down in a second to see who's here, but yeah, the first part, it's always the housekeeping on liking and sharing the feed from wherever you are. And if that's also the case too, because Thursdays lunchtime is a different time of doing it, if people can let me know actually where they're tuning in from, if I've got newcomers here, if you would embrace me with letting me know where you're tuning in from, that would be again fantastic to know, just so I can get an idea on timings and stuff like that, and getting a bit of an idea of just how far and wide this show of mine is actually going. That would be awesome. Okay, so I've just shared it to a few little groups here. I kind of also too, just to let you know, I might be changing a little bit on how I on how I do these live feeds. So there might be some few changes coming into the mix, but no need to worry or stress. I will still be here. I'll still be here twice a week. The same days, Tuesday night and Thursday lunchtime. So, but yeah, just running around with a few ideas in my head. Okay, so I'm just going to acknowledge here. Margarita, hello. Janina, hello, beautiful. Glad you can join me today. Kim, good afternoon. April, I from memory, I think that you're from overseas. Stella, hello. I'm well, thank you, and thank you for the hug. Chloe, I was going to name my daughter if I had a daughter. I was actually tossing up between Alexis and Chloe. They were my two names, but I had a son, so I called him Nathan. Breeza, hello. Natalie, Deborah, Sharon, Stacey, David. David's on lunch break. Good for you. Having a quick lunch and watching. How dedicated is that? Welcome. Oh, okay. Nicole, Tracy, David's at West Pymble. It'd be hot out there, I would imagine. Nita, Olivia, Singleton. Well, that would be warm. Narellan. Alison. Okay, she's a spiritual healer in England. It's 1 a.m. here, sweetheart. You're not going to bed. Nicole from Melbourne. Alison, Anna, Kim, Kath. Oh, there's lots of you joining, isn't there? Susanna. Kim again. Okay. Oh, Kim, I thought your wording said something different then for a moment. I had to double take on that. Not that I thought you would write that, but I did double take on that. Clearly, that's where my mind must be right now. Hopeless. Anyway, let's kick it off. Kim, day has been okay. Can't believe that already half a day is over and done with. I've been on the phone securing other things, which is kind of good. But yeah, now has my mind racing on a few things that I have to do. But that's okay. It's 2021. Anything's possible. Anything's going to happen. Anything will have to be better than 2020. And for a lot of people, 2020, yeah, huge amounts of drama for lots of people. So I'm just going to get my phone back so we're on the right path here. Bit of a mix-up here this morning. My phone's been going a bit crazy. I think I got about 2 hours sleep last night. It's all good. Let's kick it off. I've got a lot of people that have joined. Thank you so much, and thank you very much for joining from wherever you are. Okay, Chloe, I'm going to come across to you. Yeah. I've got here. I lost my pot 5 months ago and would like to know if he comes through. Okay, Chloe, let me have a quick go. Chloe, I actually want to say to you, first up, what I'm being directed to and what I'm being shown is that you were studying something, or you were deeply involved in reading something that you were sharing with your granddad. And I actually want to say to you that I don't believe that you, how can I put it, finished the project with Pop before he passed. But I need to tell you that Pop knows that you're kind of, and I want to say to you, you're probably about another month off actually finishing it, but because it's more like you kind of stopped, and I understand why you stopped, because I think it was something that you enjoyed embracing him with, getting him, and I'm also mindful of his age, but I have to say to you that it gave you and it gave him a lot of pleasure when you would share that sort of information with him. He would be kind of, without physically doing it, patting you on the back to sort of say, do you know what, stop, if I can say this the right way, stop questioning yourself on what you're producing, because what you're producing was coming out actually quite good, but you're questioning yourself on the quality of what you're actually producing there. So I'm not, as I said, I'm being drawn to more of studying something, reading about something that you were kind of had your had your mind engrossed in. And he was someone, no matter what his age, he was someone that was always interested in what you had to say. The connection there seems to be very, very close. And I admire that connection, because some people can, be a bit not offstandish with their grandparents, but they can kind of think, oh, there's a bit of an age gap, so I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna get too close as such. So I do appreciate and admire, what you had. I had that with my grandparents. I was very close to my grandparents, and I'm lucky that they, do connect in spirit. However, most people can sense them around, but some people don't fully understand, or they can't, actually connect with them. But I feel that he's actually there quite often, and I need to direct you to, and I think it's outside your bedroom door, or very close to the entrance of how you walk into your bedroom. There's I wouldn't call it large, but I'll call it like a medium-sized bookshelf, and there seems to be a particular book that either falls off the shelf quite often, or when you pull it out to actually read it, there seems to be a page corner turned, or something that's kind of shoved into that book. So and I kind of need to say to you, that's just Pop. That's your love for reading, for studying, for embracing knowledge is what he's coming through with me and saying. So he obviously has high respect for everything you do there. So Chloe, keep up. He's sort of saying, keep up the good work. He knows why you had a bit of a stop. And it was all, more so that too much going on in him, and giving yourself and allowing yourself, that breather space for when he passed, to acknowledge his passing, and he's very proud that you did. And I want to say to you that the words in what you said on his passing, and this is probably maybe more important than the studying, in your shoes, it's probably more important that you hear this as such, to understand that he's right there with you. What you said, and there's no disrespect in, and no one's angry, where there was probably a few more pauses than you had actually tried to do. But pausing throughout a speech at a difficult time is totally okay. But I want to direct you towards the second paragraph, And there was a couple of lines, I believe it's the second and third line in that second paragraph that really got to your heart, but it got to everybody's heart. And Pop is so very, very grateful for your writing. He starts off all very emotional, doesn't it? He's the respect in what you said and how you said it. But that paragraph kind of got to everybody's heartstrings, including his and including mine. So I want to thank you for your kind words as well. And I want to embrace the love that, you know, you and Pop had. So I hope that sits well with you. And if you can let me know, that'd be fantastic. Okay. Breezer, I'm going to go to you. Okay. A lot in there for a quick read, but I want to say to you, what's going to happen with the breakup, sweetheart? Nobody's in charge of that but you. And you know me, I say everything with the greatest respect. If I feel, and what I'm being directed with Spirit, is that once somebody has, and I feel it quite strongly, once somebody has misused your trust or misused your respect, or in fact removed that respect, that's really hard to get it back. It's really hard to come back on that same keel, because there is, I know you're probably vulnerable, because it's like, well, you know, the father of my children is actually, you know, not here, and I need that, you know, I need that support type thing. It's more about owning your own worth, because a leopard doesn't change its spots. A leopard can't change its spots. People are sometimes willing to try, but once I feel that trust has been, what I want to say, severed, is because I see this, you know, I see like a lightning bolt. So to me, that's severed rather than just a broken heart. It's kind of severed. And with all due respect, I think that the loving, kind natured person of you is wanting and yearning. You're kind of yearning that love to be there, if I can say it that way. But I still have to draw you back to your own self-respect, to your own self-worth. You know, is it better to accept somebody mistreating you, or disrespecting you, or not allowing you to have your say, or not allowing you to be you? If that's what you want to accept, then, you know, I can't change that outcome for you. It's you have to take this on board. You have to have ownership of it and virtually say, do you know what? It's tough. It's tough being on my own, and it's tough that I've got to bring up, you know, 2 kiddies and all this sort of stuff. It's going to be really, really tough. I don't think I can do this. You can keep saying I don't think I can do this and question yourself till the cows come home. You've got to start saying I can do this, because the moment you flick that switch and your subconscious and everything is in alignment with, I can do this because I'm strong enough and I want to do it. You know, it's like the warrior wants to prove it to you that you have the nous, you have the ability, you have the strength, you have the courage, all that sort of stuff rolled into one. You know, if you can either say to yourself you're doing it for your kids, or if you're doing it for yourself. Either way, both of them will work. But you've got to be happy with who you are, and you've got to be happy with your own decisions. The moment you question your decisions, you fall back into the trap of, oh, but it's nice to have someone around. And if he mistreats me, that's okay. It's acceptance, sweetheart. It's accepting you yourself. Yeah. I had to say that because it was just, it was so much in my head. Okay, so you jumped on the bottom and saying, you know, it's very much over. I just feel he's being sneaky re the house and his intentions. If he is, it's again, it still comes to the same scenario, like, you know, what Spirit is throwing at me. It's how you address it. It's how, if you think he's being sneaky, well, be smarter. If you think his intentions are wrong, again, same sort of deal. You have to outweigh. You have to be the one that speaks up for you, and not question your judgment, not question the way that you're putting, not necessarily putting him on the spot, but putting him in his place. If he's got wrong intentions and you call him out, then you have to be strong enough to do that. Otherwise, it will play cat and mouse for however long. Yeah. So you need to kind of like have a little bit of think about that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Stella. It actually doesn't show up. It's actually brighter. It's a lot brighter, actually, than what it's showing up on screen. Yeah, I love my caftans. Thank you to Silk Islands. Thank you to Silk Islands. Thank you to Leslie Barlow in Western Australia. She has a caftan company, which is awesome. Okay, let me have a look here. Alison, I'm actually going to come to you. Beautiful that you're a spiritual healer, and I love that you're tuning in from England. Thank you so much. That's if you're still awake. I'm sure that you would be once you joined. I don't normally do generals as such on a live feed, but Spirit was drawing me to you. A, because it wants to thank you for the work that you put out for others. B, also too, Spirit is sort of saying that you're, and it's possibly because of COVID, because I see this, not necessarily a brick wall, but I see this wall. It's not in front of you, this wall to the side of you, which I think that some of your work has been put on hold. And as much as, you can do as much as you want over internets, over phones and things like that. But to me, with your hands, like, you're extremely good with your hands, and you're extremely good at shifting energy in one's body through your hands. So I can also see that Reiki healing side of you as well. Having said that, Spirit is directing me to the over emotions. So the overworking of your own emotions. I feel there's a lot of upheaval there, and I feel that you're probably questioning and doubting to the sense of, with all this going on, am I still on the right path? Am I still doing what's good for me? There seems to be some questions. Again, I want to say, is it just because of COVID? Has COVID put these doubts in your head? Because if COVID wasn't around, I think everything would be fine. But I also feel there's a little bit of a personal issue there as well that keeps kind of, to me, it's like someone's sticking their head around, Spirit showing me someone sticking their head around a corner as if to say, are you forgetting that I'm here? Are you not letting me into your life? So there seems to be a bit of a personal issue going on in the background as well. But the main thing that Spirit wants to sort of come through with is more about trusting your own abilities, because you're good at what you do. And the energy that you produce is very, very powerful. But Spirit is sort of saying that sometimes that power is reversed back into you in a bit of a different way, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like, wow, I'm releasing all this so I can help and I can shift other people's energies and I can work with people's energies field. But what do I turn back into myself? I just keep getting this turning business. So Spirit just keeps on flipping and turning, as if to say, there's, and that could, the other thing that could mean is that, your life is being turned upside down as such. But I don't feel that to the full degree. Yes, I feel there's some personal stuff going on the side, which, to be fair, and I say everything with the greatest respect, and I know you're new, so I have to, reiterate that to you again. And I do say everything with respect, but it's almost like you've either just shut somebody out of your life for good reasons, or someone from past is trying to come back into your life and you're not getting it. That's the only other thing that's what that means with Spirit showing me in a bit of a cheeky way. Spirit is showing me that, that person trying to look around a corner has it to say, yeah, hey, I'm here. Yeah, but okay, so you've just come in here at the bottom. Yes, my guides are powerful. Yes, a connection with a man, timing not right. Okay, yep, I get that. That's probably why Spirit is showing me that person with their head around the corner. Do you want me to heal myself? Yes, personally. I don't necessarily want you to heal yourself because, and I think that you understand when I say this, it's not about me not trusting that you can do that, but I do a lot of healing work myself, and I can only take my healing work to myself to a certain level. And sometimes the top level that we give others, we can't give that top level to ourselves, if that makes sense. And I really believe that you'll know what I'm talking about, because when we're giving it to others, we're working with their energies, and we're, with me, I'm working with spirit, and it's all directed at the other person. But if I'm working with energy healing on myself, I kind of don't give myself the same quality, if that makes sense. And that's not giving myself any disrespect. It's more about, instead of bouncing off two energies, you're bouncing off one. And I feel that with ourselves, we can only go so far. It's like some tarot readers will say to me, oh, I read cards all the time. I'm so advanced in reading cards. But when they read for themselves, they know all the deviations of all the cards and what means what and what means what when it puts together with here or upside down or whatever else, that they choose to pick the one that suits them on that day. Do you know what I mean? That's when they're reading for themselves. So I think with healing, that's what, I if anything, and I know it's hard for practitioners like ourselves to actually go to somebody else with something that we can actually do, but every so often we just need that top notch coming from somebody else, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying that you're not qualified enough. Please don't take me the wrong way. It's more about, we can give ourselves a certain amount. We just need someone else to come in over the top and finish it off. Yeah, like a top coat on your nail polish. Yeah. And I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about. If that all resonates, please just let me know. And I thank you so much for joining. Lovely to have you here. Okay. Okay, I'm coming to Margareta. Can you help me? I asked you last time about my father that is in hospital. Will he get out on the weekend, and will he get better? I think yes. I think you were here on Tuesday night, and I didn't get to you. I think that's... Okay. Margaret, I have to... I'm kind of in two minds. I've got two different spirits in my ear saying two different things. So I'm just going to kind of letting them natter for a moment. But what I feel with the energy that's coming through, I'm not sure that he'll be actually out on the weekend. If anything, if he is going to come out on the weekend, it will be the very latter of the last day. It'll almost be like you're sitting there going, oh my God, he's not going to come out because it's too late in the day. And it will be like possibly a last minute decision, because there's a bit of, I don't know whether it's you, and again, with respect, but there seems to be a bit of push and shove to try and get him out. If there's someone that's doing the pushing and shoving to get him out, whether it's just because you want him home for the weekend, or you want some homely love to help him, feel and get better as such, make sure that every I is dotted and every T is crossed. Because it seems to be, I'm being told by one of my guides that one simple test is missed because there's a push to get him out too soon. So I need to be wary of that. And I have another spirit guide saying that he'll be more comfortable in his own home because he'll be surrounded by people he loves. So I've kind of got a bit of like mixed things coming through. But if I can take from that is just double check that everything is done and the results are back before they're actually releasing him, because if spirit are throwing me those things, I have to be very mindful of it. And I don't see anything bad about it, but I just kind of alerting you that all tests have kind of got to be done and be back. It's more about them coming back and the results being back before they actually sign him out of the hospital. Yeah. And he will get better, but don't be surprised if it's a bit of a slow process. And again, no disrespect, it's just a bit of a slow process. He's kind of had a bit of a tough ride. Yeah. So I hope that helps you, and let me know. That'd be great. Okay. I'll make sure we haven't got any trolls. Julio, I was going to call you a bit later after this feed to talk to you about tomorrow. Tomorrow, Julio and I will be doing live from Miami and Australia, doing an Instagram live. So if any of you guys are about, it will be, and that's what I want to check with you, my love. It will be to what I feel 1 p.m. Australia time tomorrow. Yeah. But I'm going to ring you a bit later, my love. But thank you for joining me. I've got all these fans in Miami. A lot of respect to you, my love. Lot of respect. Okay. I'm just having a look. Okay, Stacey. I've recently moved to pursue a new position in my career. Will I finally be able to detach from toxic people who I moved away from? Okay. The hardest thing for a lot of people, Stacey, is doing that detachment. And you know why? Because generally, and I'm just going to talk generally for a second, generally it's about like a family member or like a mum or a dad, brother, sister, whatever. So detach ourselves from a family member who we are really supposed to be getting unconditional love from can be really, really hard. And it can really play havoc with your mind. So I as much as you want to get away from toxic people, you have to override some of the things that are coming through in your subconscious, because your subconscious will automatically say to you, oh, but it's mum, and mum gave birth to me and mum looked after me as a child, mum brought me up, on and on. But if somebody is toxic and throwing off all that negativity into you, throws the negativity at you, throws the negativity through you, because there's 3 different ways of that negativity getting in, you become a shell of yourself. You become a person that's not quite you. You become a person that is fearful to say what they think all the time, because you walk around on eggshells, and walking around on eggshells. I mean, who wants that rubbish? I know you said shit then, but that's the truth. Like, who wants that? I feel for you, because I've been through the whole thing. I have a family of narcissistic people, and it's awful. It's awful. I've grown up around narcissism. I've had my teenage years through narcissism. I've had my older years through narcissism. And it wasn't because I how can I say this? Because I used to think, well, okay, it's my mum, unconditional love, and blah, blah, blah. It's never going to happen, right from the get-go. It's never going to happen. You have to set the boundaries, and they're not going to like the boundaries, because it'll be all your fault. And this is where you have to be mindful of the subconscious, because it will all be your fault. How dare you walk away from me because I did all this for you, and I gave birth to you, and I did this, and blah, 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 blah. All these things are thrown at you all the time. You're made to feel so guilty. Apparently my mother was a bit sick after she gave birth to me, but that's my fault. Go figure. How could it be my fault? In fact, I was in a humidity crib for 4 months because I nearly died. But don't worry about that. She was a bit sick. She got to go home that evening, so she couldn't be that sick. Do you know what I mean? It's the way that everything is produced, and those stories get bigger and better as time goes on. And this is where the toxic stuff, because you keep hearing like the same story, and it's different every time. I mean, you're always the culprit, but it gets different every time, and it gets expanded every single time. And then there's so much emotion because that person is so hurt that you did this. But in fact, you're the one that's sitting at home because you're the one that's hurt, because you're the one that's gone through it. It's tough, but there is a very good book. I've just given it to somebody else, actually. Well, not given it, but I've just given them the title, and they've picked it up so they could read it. It's a very good book to help you get through it. And if you inbox me, I will send you a photograph of the front cover, because if once you read this, you will understand how your life will be different. It'll show you all the traits of the narcissist. You'll read a sentence, it will say, you know, a narcissistic person will say this, and you read that sentence and go, oh my God, that's word for what they say. Like the book will just spin you out. But the book gives you an extremely great insight. And maybe I should, next live, maybe I should have it here to show it up to many, because I think many might be in the same boat. Very good book to read. I think it's about $20. Been around for a long time, but it teaches you all the characteristics. It teaches you how to move past. It teaches you how to, as you say, detach. So that's the part I want to focus on, because pursuing a new position, you know, you will, but the more important thing is to get yourself ready for that by being able to establish that you are your own person. Your self-worth is okay without the toxic people in your life, yeah, because that's something you need to grow, yeah. So I hope that helps. Please let me know. Okay. I just saw something really weird, but anyway, I'll get back to that. Okay. Thank you, Margarita. I'm sorry I missed you on Tuesday night. I didn't get to your message Tuesday night, but yep. I don't know where. I think you're from overseas as well, but yeah, just as I said, check those test results are back. He will be fine, and yeah, all good. Sweetheart, I'll give you a call a bit later after this show. But I'm glad you're watching. Thank you, Alison. I'm pretty sure that you knew what I was talking about, yeah? Okay, Spirit, where are you taking me? Where are you taking me, please? If anyone's got any specific questions rather than generals, can you please put those on? That would be wonderful. Okay, Debbie, I'm going to come to you. Hopefully, narcissism isn't the theme for the day. Leaving your narcissistic husband. Can you tell me what my spirit guides want me to know? First and foremost, I hope you were listening to what I just said to that previous lady, because the hardest thing to get past is, is the guilt of feeling that a loved one, can throw all that toxicity your way. They will never take responsibility for it. They'll never own up to anything that they did wrong. All that sort of stuff. It's a really hard road, and I am going to. It is something that I get asked about quite often. I'm a qualified psychotherapist and holistic counselor, so I know the traits of narcissism. But B, I've gone through that all my life as well. So I have a double barrel of being able to help people get through, what it's like to either live with a narcissistic person or remove themselves from that sort of toxicity. So, and because it's kind of started as a theme today, it's embedded something else in my head that maybe a workshop should be built around dealing with narcissism. And I'm sure a lot of you will join me on, whether I do an actual event, whether I do a workshop as such, where I give you, little scenarios, where I give you what I like to call homework and all this sort of stuff, where I give you some structured stuff that, helps you through and all that sort of stuff. And it gives you like a platform also to vent, to vent what's going on in your life with the narcissism, yeah? I think maybe that's the go of looking at narcissism. But in saying that, be strong, because I'm hearing that he has, and this is sorry, but I'm hearing that he's a bit of a smooth operator. So he's very good with his words, and to everybody else though, he comes across as a very smooth operator. So be very mindful that there will be people that will judge you in the sense of thinking that you're saying the wrong thing about him, and that's because he has Yes, how many times is the spirit going to say smooth operator? They're even singing the song in my ear. It's ridiculous. But that's how he comes across, as, you know, he can charm, he can smooth his way through any type of uh, um, comment that's kind of like, you know, thrown back at him on if they've heard something from you. He can counteract that each and every time. So yeah, I need you, that's probably the main thing I needed to alert you to. But be mindful of your own words too, because if you snap back, you're kind of falling into, you know, to his trap. You know, allow yourself to be free, my love. Like, you know, allow yourself to kind of go, do you know what, this is, I'm leaving, but I'm starting my new journey. If you all look at it, if you all got something to do with, you know, narcissistic people, treat it as a new journey for yourself, rather than, oh my God, I'm walking away, I'm so hurt, I'm so this, I'm so that. The hurt we can release. Hurt, pain, anger. It's okay to give yourself, and this is another thing that I teach a lot of as well. It's a point of, if you get angry about something, allow yourself, give yourself permission to be angry for half an hour. And unfortunately, if anyone speaks to you in that half an hour, you might be lashing out in anger. But if you allow yourself, like if something happens, allow yourself half an hour to be angry, and then cut it off and go, you know what, I've dealt with it, I'm done with it, you know, gone. In this sense, because you're leaving, it's a case of, yes, you're leaving, but you're leaving for the greater good. You're leaving to get away from somebody who continually puts you down and doesn't see you for your own worth. You know, you have to be proud of yourself with the strength to kind of go, do you know what, I've had enough, I'm out the door. But call it your new journey. Leave that behind. We can do healing on that. There's no issue with that whatsoever. You can do some stuff to even heal yourself on it. But if you start to tell yourself this is a new journey and that you're very important and you deserve to be on a new journey, it gets you through so much easier. And you know, you adjust to it very well. But the actual point is that, you know, you come through it with a newfound confidence. And that's what I see there. Let me know how you go. Okay, I don't know why that come up. Let me know how you go with that, and how you feel about that actually going on, yeah? Okay. What else? Oh, who else? Where are we going, Spirit? Sorry, I get guided by Spirit to and be drawn to. Oh, is that someone walk over my grave? Okay, Olivia, I'm coming to you. Feeling lost right now. I'm very down after losing my brother 3 months ago. Need some guidance. The reason why, well, not the reason, I mean, there's plenty of reasons why, you know, people feel down after losing someone. I'm being shown blame. I'm being shown a shake of, well, it's a shake, it's not a nod, it's a shake of a head. Okay. Man, I have to say to you, I have to address it. I'm being directed to I know, look, with all due respect, and I'm very, very sorry for your loss, because it's only a short time ago. So therefore, everything, you know, wounds are not healed. The grief is still very, very raw. You know, your heart, you know, sliced into. So it is very fresh and it is very raw. But I need to say to you, please don't take me the wrong way, because you could possibly take me the wrong way with this being so raw, with only being 3 months. However, I do want to say to you that what you tried to do was acknowledged, but couldn't be changed. That part came through very clear, and I don't know why he actually said it in that way, but so it's what you tried to do is very, very much appreciated. But whatever that was, which I can't go into too much detail, but whatever that was, it wasn't going to change the outcome as such. Okay. I also understand that, wow, you guys are pretty close. I don't want to say twins, but you're very close. Like, I would say to you that at times you could finish his sentence for him, and there was like a lot of laughter about doing that in younger years, and not necessarily playing games with it, but yeah, it was kind of, well, I don't want to say party trick, but you know what I mean. And this is why I say don't take me the wrong way. If I'm smiling, I'm laughing. It's because I'm embracing his laughter, his full energy. Like he's pretty full on. He's very energetic, very much what I want to say, showing me like very sporty, very, always on the go, very quick, always on the go. So much so that I actually want to say to him, sit down so I can actually hear you better, because being on the go so much, you're kind of darting here and darting there. And there is a significance. Wow, it's not a deep pink and it's not a soft pink. It's like a pink color in between. And I don't know whether it was a particular flower or whether it's one of your favorites or something that you held on to at his funeral. But so, as I said, it's not bright pink. It's not soft pink. It's this mediocre, dusty something or other pink in between. But I kind of see a hand clutching. So I want to say like a single flower. And what I want to say to you, that touched his heart. And I just... And I have to also to ask about the right shoulder. I'm being directed to the right shoulder. I mean, that's got nothing to do with necessarily the passing as such. I believe that somebody has an issue with their right shoulder. Whether that's from a sporting injury, whether it's an accident, or whether at times that they just feel really heavy on the right-hand shoulder that pains them enough to kind of be cursing at the right shoulder quite often, yeah. She's directing me to that. In hindsight, sweetheart, he is fine because he has this jovial laugh, and it's a laugh that that I smile when I hear it, because it is a laugh that it encapsulates you. It's embracing. It's a laugh where you just don't forget it. So he has this quality about him where people, your friends, other people in your family, they will. I mean, they'll never forget him. Don't take that the wrong way, but they will never forget that laughter will be around you a lifetime. Yeah. Let me know how you feel about that, Olivia. And yeah, thank you so much for asking. I will never own up to anything, and don't let them make you think you're the one doing it. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely true, Melissa. It's I hate to use the wording, but it's a death trap, really. The longer you live with narcissism, and the longer you go with not understanding it, though, the longer it affects you, and it can affect you big time, absolutely big time. And it wasn't after reading today, and yet still managed to get really good advice. Thank you so much, Andrew. Look, you're always welcome, my love. Always welcome. I know you're saying you're not asking for reading, but my dad just jumped in with you to virtually say for the last couple of weeks. And I actually, you've been watching my lives and really haven't asked a question as such. But for the last couple of weeks, you're doubting your ability to finish something. Get back on that wagon. Do some manifestation work with yourself, or do some out with the old, in with the new type thing, because it seems that you've kind of hit a plane and gone, mindset. When that doubt gets in and you allow the subconscious to roll, mindset shifts. So you've lost a bit of focus, and I say that with respect, but you've lost a bit of focus. Swing that back around again. You know how to swing that back around again. Stop actually questioning, how can I say this? Things have gone on in your past. Things have gone on when you were younger that you question that you've been here before. Don't let that overrule you, because the more you allow that in, to overrule you. If you've been here before, what does it matter? Nothing. It doesn't matter. It just means that, in hindsight, things may feel that, you've been there before. Things may feel deja vu. You might feel that in your past life, or what you think is your past life, that people were angry at you. People were, I was told I was a white witch and burned at the stake. I don't live by it. If I was, I was. Nothing I can do about it. What did I learn out of that? Not much, because it's past. Do I want to bring that forward? Do I want to go, oh my God, people thought I was a witch and they burnt me alive? How awful, how bad. Oh, maybe they'll do that again. Your subconscious can roll with certain things. And I'm not saying anyone who dwells in a past lives or whatever is wrong, because I've studied that myself. It's where you learn to put certain things. You can take a little bit out of it, but if you allow the subconscious to fuel on probably the negative side of your past life, that's what does the damage. My spirit had to tell me I had to direct you there today. I know you didn't ask for reading, but that's where spirit is directing me. Forget about the doubt whether you're good enough to finish what you started. You are good enough to finish what you start. You just need to come back, realign, refocus, and put your best foot forward. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. Look who I've got here. Good old Marty Stott. Happy New Year to you, Marty. Surprised at your journey. You're here. Have you been told to come spying on me? No, I'm kidding. Who cares? I know you like what I do. You're fascinated in what I do, so it's all good. It's all good. I just think it's funny. Hello, Ines. I haven't seen you around for a while. I hope you're well. Okay. Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing, starting a new journey. Yes, I'm starting a new business and reconnecting with my children. And we were driven away via my husband. New town, new life, new beginning. Absolutely, Debbie. Don't let the small minds of other people squash what you want to do. And there will be a lot of small talk. But that's exactly what it is. Small talk, small talk, small talk. I have a very good saying that I teach people, and I said, actually have to say this Tuesday night. But it's very, very true. And when people live by it, they understand it and they're able to shift things a lot easier. It's a case of everybody has an opinion because everybody's entitled to an opinion. But it's what you do with that opinion that matters. And that's mine. I made that up years ago because it's true. We, how many families sit around arguing about politics? Someone's always going to be in the room for Labor. Someone's always going to be in the room for Liberal. Nothing is going to change. At times, they're both as bad as one another. Sometimes there's good people in there. Sometimes there's bad people. It's a case of don't let the conversation ruin, a gathering. Allow them to have their opinion. Acknowledge that they've got an opinion. But it's what you do with the opinion that matters. And if it plays no part, just brush it. Off it goes. Care factor? None. Because if you live by that all the time, if you took on board everyone's opinions, and if I took on board everyone's opinions, man, I'd be 6 foot under. I've got people that hate me just because I'm good at what I do. Well, I can't control that. If I'm good at what I do, can someone just not embrace it? Can someone not just say, wow, that's fascinating, instead of saying, oh, no, I don't believe in that rubbish, and then they go around and talk and talk and talk. And the talk is they'll say to my face, I don't believe it and all this sort of stuff, but they'll talk about, oh, God, I wish I was like Robin. Wish I could be as confident as her. Well, don't rubbish me to my face and then go and do that. Again, if I took it all on board, I wouldn't be who I am today and I wouldn't be doing what I do today, yeah? Because I would think my whole world was. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Everybody has an opinion because everybody's entitled to an opinion, but it's what you do with that opinion that matters. I feel like I'm a bit of a lecturer today, but that's okay. It's all good. Joanne, my mum is in self-isolation. Is she going to be okay? Yeah, look, Joanne, I don't feel that there's anything too serious there. Like I feel like she's on watch, of course, but I think that I think she's in the best place, and I think that some stuff though is precautionary, because I'm not getting this. I'm not getting an overwhelming sense of, oh my God, like I don't get that. And if I got that, I would tell you. But if I got that from spirit, well, then that means that there's, something to look out for. But I'm actually not getting that. I'm actually getting that the people that are helping her. So there's two people that seem to be helping her, and it's almost like she. Again, please don't take it the wrong way, but it's almost like she's loving the chatter. So she's loving having someone to chat to. She's loving having, not so much loving having a few people do things for her, but likes to chat. A bit like me, likes to chat. I like to chat because I can, it stimulates. Is that the right word? Probably is the right word. It stimulates others into thinking outside the square. I've had a very colourful life. I'm a very colourful person as such. Stories that I tell in my life are always true. Some people say that some of my stories aren't true. They are always true. It's just that I have a knack about being able to tell them in maybe a funny way or a lighthearted way, or whatever the case may be. But every story I tell is the absolute truth. And people embrace that. And why is it that I would sit back and, I have an ex-husband who loved me for who I was, who was drawn to me because of my character, my personality. I was up on a stage dancing, for heaven's sake. I was the star of the show. Did it for years. And he loved that and kind of went, I have to have you, and did all the smooth talking and all that sort of stuff. Married me. Day after I was married, got all the rules. Can't have friends over. Got to have shoes over the front door. We're gonna renovate the bathroom. We're doing it this way. Don't care what you think. We're doing it this way. You can't bring your family. You can't do. I'm like, what are all these rules? And that was after 15 years of knowing him. What are all these rules? So yeah, hence it was a very short marriage. 4 years. Got a child out of it. But yeah, went through a lot of domestic violence to be able to get out. But it's someone wearing a mask for that length of time and for what I do, sometimes I felt foolish because, yes, being psychic, I should have seen signs. But, was I caught up? And this may be I may have had to tell this story for a reason. Was I caught up in somebody embracing me for who I was instead of people questioning or people being jealous or whatever? Was I caught up in that where I missed the signs? But when I saw the signs, oh my goodness, like I did everything I could. Yes, violence got worse, but yeah, I got out and boy, did I challenge. And that's when the inner warrior came out and said, don't you dare. But anyway, that's maybe another lesson for another day. And Spirit obviously directed me to say that. Maybe there's some people here today that have gone through something similar or are feeling guilty about they didn't see the signs of their partner, male or female, changing after it got to a certain point. All these things, Spirit always normally directs me about what to talk about. Yeah. So I'm hoping that I'm helping many, regardless of whether it's a reading or you're just getting something out of, what I'm actually saying. Some feedback would be great. Jeff, you're fairly new. I got you a couple of weeks ago. You're fairly new to my program, and but I think you're on my Facebook. I think last time, from memory, was it Dad? Yeah, I think I've learned a bit about you and Dad, I think. Okay. What I'm getting with you, apart from you telling that, your mum and dad are fine, embracing each other, but also, also too, coming around and doing a few little, I call them just signs in your house that you may be missing, but a little bit of activity that goes on there, whether you actually sense that or feel that or not. But I have to bring that forward because it's almost like Dad is sitting in his chair going, yep, He doesn't know I'm here, and that's okay. I'm just going to sit in my chair. So I need to bring that forward, as such as Dad obviously had a favourite chair, and I think that's. I think you still have it, or it's still like a talking piece. Do I say that he was head of the household? Well, pretty much, but not in an arrogant way. But he had this chair, and for me to actually say it's probably a chair that, if a number of years ago could have been thrown away, but it was his chair, perfect. And he just felt, whether, look, it's not arrogant for me to say he felt like a king in that chair, but it was, I guess it was just his, and it was his little his way of being able to sit in and relax. But I need to bring forward with you, if I may, that there's a couple of things that you've been trying to achieve in work around the house, because it keeps directing me to house. So I have to sort of say things that you're trying to achieve around the house. Don't please, with respect, it's like you have too much of a high expectation on the time frame of certain things. So he's kind of sort of saying, in a funny way, he's sort of saying, get off your high horse, and not everything is, Rome wasn't built in a day. That's the way of saying it, because certain things have to take a certain amount of time, but also too, certain things cost certain amounts of money, and sometimes not all the money is there. And I just had to bring that through, because that's what he's saying to me. But that's why he's laughing, saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. You don't have to have everything done at once. Things can be spread out. But I think sometimes that your frustration comes into a few things, because you would just like to see the job done. So you're very structured, I guess is the word to say, in having things done. If you've got your mindset on, I'm just going to pluck a few things. The lawn has to be mowed today, because tomorrow I need to do this, this, and this, so I have to do that today. If something happens and you don't do the lawn today, does it really matter? There seems to be, and I know that sounds trivial, but I had to put it in kind of a light-hearted way, where you can kind of see it actually doesn't matter the length of time that something goes before, because there's many reasons why we can't get something done in the house. Yeah. So if it's finances at some point, okay, so be it. Next month we'll be better off. Next month we can get something done. If your roof was leaking and it was destroying things in your house, you'd find a way to get that done, yeah? But if it's not, if it's something that can be put off to another day, then do so. Everything doesn't have to be as structured. So Dad's main point is, and Mum's kind of laughing in the background, because in his day, he was a bit the same. But his main message is like, Rome was not built in a day, and you don't have to build Rome in a day. Yeah, relax a little bit. And he's not being rude. He's not being defensive. He's just, because he was very much the same. He was quite structured in when things had to be done. Yeah. So it's just like, you've got a little bit of his trait, but that's okay. You're your father's son, which is, I think is a good thing. Okay. Thank you for joining me again too. I don't often see your name. I'm going to, there seems to be a few new people joining. I'm actually going to reiterate, what I normally say at the beginning of the show. If you can please like, love, and share this live feed, whether you share it to your own page, whether you share it to some groups, we can actually see that, when you have, there's more chance of me being drawn to you as such. It's like that exchange of, respect. Yeah. If you can like and share the feeds, as I said, to your own page or to a group, that'd be awesome. And put you sort of like, I can see when you've shared, and Spirit will direct me. But Spirit directs me to a few different people anyway, but more chance if you've liked and shared, that would be awesome. Just so we can get, the word out to as many people as we can, because somebody said to me, and well, a lot of people have said to me, that they, when they watch, they don't always ask for a question, because if I'm reading for someone, sometimes they feel that reading was meant for them, so they get something out of it anyway. And that's the beauty about reading. If something resonates with you, even though if it's not directed to your name as such, if something resonates with you, then that person feels better in their day. So that's more about what I'm about sharing the page. It's so other people can watch it, whether they watch it live or whether they watch it later. It's more about, they will get something out of it, yeah? Okay, Andrew. I have always had a lot of fear relating to my past lives and where home is because I've never felt home here on earth. But thanks to you, I'm finding it easier to live in the light. Andrew, no problem. There is a blockage with your past stuff, but with all due respects, for the last couple of years, you're fueling that blockage. You're allowing your subconscious to fuel it. And the more you're fueling it, the more the fear comes in, the more it's detaching you from belonging here today, if that makes sense. Yeah? I think a full reading is in order for you, and I don't say that lightly. There's because I think a few times you've thrown this past stuff at me, and it kind of eats at me a bit because some things grab your subconscious and it flows, and I don't mean to be rude when I say it goes off into fantasy world, but it goes, what I mean by that is that it grows, like the image or the saying in your subconscious just grows, yeah? So I kind of need to kind of pull that back a bit, yeah? Okay. Where am I going here? Thank you for the time you gave me today. A lot of your things are correct. I don't live in the home anymore. My sister sold it before she passed. On the lighter note, can you tell me if Cronulla Sharks? It's like asking for the lotto numbers, Jeff. That's I kind of go, it's a bit disrespectful, in the sense of we don't know lotto numbers, we don't know lottery. I'm like, yeah, my God, if I did, I would not have to, save my own pennies as such if I knew all of that. Spirit doesn't guide us in that direction. Well, Cronulla Sharks, what will they do this year? Wouldn't have a clue, my love. Wouldn't have a clue. Spirit doesn't focus in on those sorts of things. It's, that's, if it did, how could Spirit every single day then be tuned into every single player of every single team to work out for a whole year of games if somebody was going to break their legs, if someone was going to have a concussion, if somebody was going to be, I don't know, someone has some personal issues and has to be taken off the team and someone else comes in, all that sort of stuff. Big things around sports, my love. Not something I'm going to delve into ever, because it's just, it is what it is. And I say that with respect. I'm not having a crack at you. By all means, I'm not having a crack. It's more about, explain to others who may not know that that's a side of Spirit that doesn't touch. Spirit, if a Spirit would be used for wrong, some people, and maybe your questions actually made me, or your comment has made me even go down this path too. I had someone the other day who was allowing their child to watch some paranormal something or other, and the child was young, and in this thing, the gentleman had a machine that was, to what do you call it, make a noise with spirit activity. Now, in this particular scene, they were walking in a cemetery and the machine was going crazy, apparently, and this thing came out of nowhere and in this really horrible voice said, I am the voice of Satan and I'm going to kill you. I'm going to slit your throat, blah, blah, blah. Now, this kid got rather scared. This kid was quite open to, tuning into certain things and whatnot, but started running around saying, oh, my God, there really is a Satan and there's all these bad spirits. And they, started raving about all these other silly shows that watch about bad spirits. Spirit is just energy. And I get really annoyed at that because there's no bad spirits as such. Spirit is just energy. Spirit will be around forever. The shows that sort of say that, Spirit comes back for unfinished business, and then once they do that, they go. They don't. And it's really one of my pet hates. And when they say, I even get told by ministers, that I'm going to go to hell because, the devil's going to get me and all this sort of stuff. And I kind of laugh at ministers and say, really? Because when you do a church service, the minister or the priest always says, Spirit lives on. So we're on the same path. Spirit will always live on in my world, and in a minister's world, spirit will always live on. Spirit will always tell ministers will always tell their parishioners that spirit lives on. So I kind of have these conversations with ministers over time saying, but we're on the same path. How can I be wrong and you be right? You know, you believe in, you talk to one God, I talk to many spirits. Same thing. Just to lighten up the day. It's more about, when the subconscious is fueled with something that's a little bit incorrect, and people get scared because sometimes spirit will show themselves as like a black flash walking past you, but that's normally to get your attention. The black flash doesn't mean that, oh, they're black, they're dark, they're going to come and get me. It doesn't mean that at all. Spirit is always, spirit is always for the good. Anyone who wants to go down that dark path, I can't stop them, of course, but yeah. Anyway. Okay, let me have a look here. Thank you for your comment anyway, Jeff. I appreciate it. Lynn, I've been on a high since my reading and feel empowered and can achieve and overcome. Well, thank you. You're amazing as kind. as kind doctor next week about injections to ease my hip pain. Look, Lynn, thank you for your wonderful words. You've got to give that a chance. Like the other night, for memory, when I touched on that, you've got to give that new stuff a chance, because the difference that you will feel. And please don't be angry with yourself either with the difference that you feel. You'll go, oh, I wish I'd have done this earlier. Like, why did I stop myself? Don't go down that path either. The path now is you're on a new journey. Because if you get angry with yourself for not doing that sooner, changes the whole perspective of the treatment, yeah? And that's not where we want to go, yeah? That's not where we want to go. Okay, where am I going? Jeff, it's okay. Don't need to say sorry. It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. Oh, hello, Grace. Aren't you beautiful for jumping in? Grace is another psychic I work with on Psychic TV, and she will be also part of the Royal Easter Show. This year we will be out at the Royal Easter Show. Grace, I don't know what days you're doing. I think you're doing the Easter weekend the same as myself. So that will be I think the Easter show starts on the 1st, which is the Thursday. So Good Friday, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th of April. So that's Good Friday, Easter Saturday, Easter Sunday, Easter Monday. I myself, along with a number of other psychics, will be doing the Royal Easter Show in Sydney at Olympic Park. We will be there and available for readings from, I understand, 9:30 in the morning through to about 7:30, 7:45 at night. So Danina, who my soul sister, who I don't know if she's still here or not, today she will be beside me. I hope she'll be beside me. Maybe she'll want to sit on the other side of the room. Who knows? Grace will be there, and many others. And we love connecting with people at events like that, because that mind, body, spirit, all that, we've been starved from that last year, as you can well imagine, because fueling off people's energies is everything that we do, and yes, we get it this way as well, because spirit will always jump in and connect me, but when we do shows and stuff, and whether they're on a stage, whether they're in a room or whatnot, we love it. So if anyone is in Sydney, or anyone coming up from other states, if they're allowed, we will be at the Easter show this year, because I got canned last year. Anyway. Actually, Tammy, I'm coming to you. Happy Thursday. Yes, happy Thursday back to you. Is my best friend hiding big things from me? Got the hiccups. Unsure if I'm seeing red flags due to my past or if they are real. Okay. Tammy, the first thing I want to say is I'm just putting spirit aside for a moment. I'm speaking from experience on the other side of the work I do with counselling, is if you are seeing red flags or if you are feeling red flags, take yourself out of the situation. Have a look at it as an outsider looking in. And I know, like I teach this, so it's actually very hard to do. But if somebody, how you can do probably like a quick feel of it is if somebody was coming to you to alert the red flags on a friend of theirs, how would you react? What advice would you be giving them? That's normally the first port of call, because when you have the emotion in it, and especially if you've got past stuff that is associated with the particular issues that you're seeing or the particular red flags that you are seeing, then your past stuff could overrule it and be seeing something that's not there. And I say that with respect. So, great question, and it will be a bit of a learning curve. My other thought would be, if you can clearly because of your question, and clearly what I'm hearing and what I'm feeling from spirit is the past excuse me, is the past stuff you haven't got fully past, if that makes sense. Because if it's coming back, if you can't differentiate between the red flag being real today or connecting it with some past stuff that people have done to you, then there's a balance of stuff that is still going on with you. So that needs to all be uplifted and gone. That's whether that's some healing sessions with myself, counseling sessions with myself, whatever the case may be, to get that up and out, because that's obviously a trigger, and the trigger always takes you to the negative. So if you're triggering quite a lot, and this could be interfering with that relationship, you actually need to separate it so you can work that out. Yeah. If she is your best friends don't generally hide things unless they're in an agenda. So in the relationship, is there an agenda for her to possibly hide things from you? That's where I wanted to go. That's my counseling hat. My psychic hat, I shouldn't be separating the two. But I needed to say that. Spirit was telling me I needed to say that. So going back into normal psychic mode, Spirit is virtually still almost saying a similar thing about protecting yourself, but not overprotecting. Because if you're overprotecting yourself and you're thinking red flags and you're feeling red flags, the best way, because otherwise you will resent that person, because again you're allowing the subconscious to roll with those thoughts. So Spirit is saying best friends will be okay if you talk. So if Spirit's throwing that at me, then I have to run with that and say, sit down and address your concerns. Because if you're, Spirit has just said you probably don't want to do that because you're fearful. But if you're fearful of upheavaling the relationship or hurting the relationship or losing the relationship, what you're doing if you don't address it is you're actually going to be losing it anyway, because you won't trust that person. So there's no win-win. Either way, Spirit says open conversation. And you could speak in a way similar to me, where I say to people quite often, that I say this with respect, because I need sometimes to people to understand that there's no malice in what I'm saying. If I have to tell someone, that they may be selfish in life, or they're on the wrong path, or and I crush their dreams, that's why Spirit always for years has directed me to say, about respecting, because I say everything from my heart, and I say things with respect. But I have to keep reminding people of that so they don't take on board what they feel might be some negative comments, because they're never negative comments. I blurt out what I hear from Spirit. And sometimes it's not what the person wants to hear, and therefore they take offense to me. Do you know what I mean? So, even if you're going to address your friend that way and say, I want to sit down and have a conversation with you, but I say this with respect, reiterate that you're saying it with respect. Have a chat. You will end up, you'll end up kind of regretting not having a chat. Yeah. And that will just make it worse. Okay. I'm actually going to go to here. We have a lovely YouTube subscriber, new viewer. I'd like to know what will happen first, finding out I'm pregnant or finding any time frame when these things will happen. Okay, that's a lot in a live, my love. Like, with no disrespect at all. Whew, okay. I'm just going to have a little bit of a tuning with spirit. Okay. I'm going to the new home first. I see new surroundings before I see a new family member. That's what I need to say there. And actually what spirit is showing me is something that's and this is no disrespect, because I at all, but spirit is showing me like they're taking me to a place that's very I don't want to say bland, but everything is clean. Everything is like there's fine edges. There's the flooring, for instance. I mean, the flooring is more tiled than what I see carpet. Like, I'm being shown. That's why I had to explain that, because I'm being shown clean, as in carpet can get dirty, as like more dirtier than floors, I would imagine. So I see everything clean. I see everything crisp. So yeah, that's. I'm feeling with spirit that the home is going to be before the pregnancy, but what that also tells me too, that when you have a child, you're bringing it home into something that's very clear. The lines are clear. It's almost like you think about those sorts of things when you're looking for the new home, if that makes sense. So, two very, very big things in your life. Certainly, like celebrations, like, totally separate. But I still have to go with spirit. Definitely feel the home is first before there is a new arrival. But I also need to say to you too, I don't think the new arrival is actually this year. I think the home comes in virtually around May. Yeah, see, I know you've jumped back in and you're saying that your boyfriend and you have been looking at home. It's one story, but it has lots of open space. Um, I don't know if that's the one, because I don't see you physically in this new particular, I want to call it an arena. I don't know why Spirit threw me the word arena, but I want to call it like that's what they said, so I have to say it. But I don't see you in there till May. So what are we in? We're only in the second week or whatever of January. And I don't see you in there till May. So that's virtually 5 months. What is stopping you in the process? What is stopping you in the process? Spirit, why are we waiting 5 months? Okay. All right. My where I'm going with it is that I don't know where you're. Can you tell me where you're tuning in from? Because what I'm feeling is circumstances about where you live now. There's circumstances around that, and there's circumstances around jobs that it's actually not the right time. I know you said that you're looking, but and you've highlighted one that you're looking at, but it's to me, I'm being shown that it's actually not the right time to move. There seems to be just something in the mix that would hold, how do I say it, would hold you back in making the transaction, if that makes sense. So there's something going on. So Spirit is directing me to, you need to look more for, okay, now Spirit wants to talk a little bit more. You need to look more for a forever home rather than just a home to suffice, if that makes sense. Yeah. And that will how do I say this, once you get once you get into this new property, though, it's almost like money situation, not that it's tight, but money situation has to be very careful, because then you have to prepare for a little one, if that makes sense. So Spirit kind of directed me in the right way, that the home is virtually going to be home for you bringing up a little one and having it set out, and I guess looking and being able to making sure everything is right for a little one to be in the home. Yeah, because bringing a little one in the home is a lot of responsibility. Having enough finances for that to happen on top of, do you know what I mean? So spirit are kind of just saying, slow down, you can't have two at once. You can't have two big events at once. So the home is first. Home is early May, and Bubs will come later, but Bubs won't come. Bubs won't officially come into this world until next year, like 2022. But I think everything will be on track. I think finances will be a whole lot better if you're not actually, because I think now that the talk of home and Bubs is stressing you out. And with you guys, stressing out too much is actually not going to be a good environment for Bubs anyway. And then if Bubs is first, home second, no. Spirit aren't directing me there, and I'm glad they're not, because that would just be way too stressful. Because then it would be more of, we have to have this, rather than we can take our time, have the right amount of money, have a good look, and make sure we're comfortable. Yeah. Virgo Queen, let me know how you feel about all that, because it's a bit of a mouthful. But you're on the right track. Just keep going. You're on the right track. You've both kind of got a plan. You both got plans in your head, and I think you've voiced the plans in your head about finances. I want to say probably a year ago it was a very touchy subject, but now not so much. Yeah, it's just more about being structured. More about being structured. So I hope that helps. Are you from the USA? Awesome. Awesome. I was feeling rather distant from you at first, but then Spirit got clearer as we went on. Okay. Okay. Where am I going? Where am I going? You're welcome, Tammy. Welcome anytime. I told yesterday that we have to move house by the 28th of March. Will we find another house in time? Thank you. 28th of March. Okay. Lola, I actually want to say to you, man, Spirit's going way off in my head. Overloading me with too much information. Okay. So I just have to separate two spirits then, because they're kind of arguing in my head, which was actually quite annoying. Spirit does that sometimes. It's just if one has a difference of opinion, like normal in this realm, if one has a difference of opinion, instead of waiting, they will just argue in my ear, which really gets quite frustrating. Lola, back to you. 28th of March is actually not that far away. I'm going to yawn now because Spirit is just, oh my God, it has zapped my brain. Okay, 28th of March is not that far away. It seems to me, from what Spirit was trying to come through with me initially, is that you're looking in the wrong direction. Okay. So I need to clarify. Have you already started to look for another house? Because Spirit is saying that you're looking in the wrong direction. So, okay. Wow. So where you are now, I don't know where that is, but where you are now, I'm being shown. Why that way? So 4 suburbs to the west. 4 suburbs to the west. I don't even. I don't even know where you are, so I don't know. I wouldn't have a clue where that is. But if you can map it somehow, and 4 suburbs to the west is where you should be looking, and that may possibly take you further inland, I would imagine. But Spirit says if you go the opposite way, if you go north, you'll think okay. Wow, this is really specific. If you go north and think that you find the perfect home, within a month or so, your dreams of the perfect home will be shattered. So obviously there's something wrong with that home. Okay. So Spirit takes me there and says that's the wrong way. It's definitely to the west and 4 suburbs to the west. If you can actually sort that out on a map and have a look and tell me whether that's a suburb that you would normally be enticed to go and look at, because that's where Spirit seems to be directing me. So look, I think that you will find something. You could always, I think it will be close, but if that's the case, fine tune it. Like keep the other people up to date with your information, because it's almost like, we need another week because we can't move into a certain date. They will be accommodating if you keep everybody up to date. If you don't tell them all the news or don't keep them up to date, it's almost like they will look at that as a sign of disrespect, and they won't care. They will kind of harden it on that 28th of March. But otherwise, I think that everything will be fine. Yeah. Okay. 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 You're saying Redlands in Queensland. I don't really even know where that is. But wherever it is, I keep saying west, 4 west. So that's all I keep getting. So I don't know where that would be, my love. I don't know where that would be. Somewhere. Just let me know. Let me know where it is and see what partakes. But you need to work out where that is to be able to start looking at, because otherwise, if you head in the wrong direction, again, you're wasting time. You've only got to the 28th of March, yeah. Okay. Where am I going? Isn't that funny that you said that? There seems to be patterns today. I mean, earlier the patterns were narcissistic people, and now the pattern is everybody moving. Will you move sometime this year? I actually don't feel that you will. Spirit aren't directing me any way, shape, or form as to where, or when, or even how. But Spirit seems to kind of want to bypass it a bit. And where are we going? And okay, and pull up some issues about that you don't. Okay, chalk and cheese again. I've got the same two in my ear. Seriously, these guys need to sort out their differences before they come in. I would imagine. I'm being shown part of you believes it's a necessity to move, and the other part is saying that you don't have to move because you've got things quite comfortable. And the other party is again jumping back in saying, but comfortable is not cool. Wow, I'm getting very mixed messages on that one. In hindsight, can we just go down the center, guys? Like, why are we arguing? Okay. I need to probably put this back on you, Mina, and I don't mean to do this. However, I need to sort of I need to say, do you have 2 family members in spirit world that just argue all the time? Like when they're in this room, they argue all the time, and whatever one person said the other one would just jump in and just totally like belittle them and virtually say something else. I just have these two particular people arguing. They are male energies. One is saying, stay put because you're comfortable and everything will work out, because there seems to be a pressing issue in your head to make you think that you would like to move. So he is kind of saying, you are comfortable, don't put extra stress on yourself. But then I have the other one that says, new start, new beginning. Why don't you look? Why do you have to stay at the comfortable zone? So I have, oh my God, I just have that argue. Okay. Can you enlighten me on that, because it really is getting a little bit annoying. I know I respect spirits so much, but when I have spirits arguing in my head, that's just kind of like putting me way off track. Because it's like they want to have their own argument about your question. So I'm still at the crossroads of one, which is the male energy side, is saying that you're comfortable. Why upheaval yourself if you're comfortable? Because something is like a thought process has come in to say that you really should move, and therefore that's why your thought process of that has started. But he's saying that you're comfortable. Why do that to yourself? And I have a female energy that's in my ear saying, no, you've had some hardships, you've had some rough times. Why don't you embrace a new beginning? So I have that. Can you hit me with something? I need to scroll down to see if you have or you haven't. Mina, are you still here? Can you enlighten me? Because it's... And I also, with respect, while these two people were alive, did those arguments annoy you? Because it almost seems like one has to always be right. Like they argue until there's one has to always be right. And that's what I want to say. Dad always seems to want to be right. Okay. Oh, sounds like mum and dad. Okay. Well, that makes sense then. But arguing like that is just ridiculous. Like, it's just crazy. So my question back to you would be then, because I have two lots of guidance from spirit in my ear, I'm not going to say one is right and one is wrong, because I believe they're throwing their own opinions at it, if that makes sense. So because because one is coming through, which is the male energy coming through quite opinionated, I think that's unfair to dump those strong opinions onto yourself. So what I do want to say is, do I feel that you need to move? No, I don't. But I do feel that towards the end of this year that you would like to move on. I think, personally, there's some stuff that's gone on where you are that you're just a little bit unhappy with. And I think that you want to embrace somewhere new to start afresh. And I, with respect, I actually want to say to you, some people don't want to deal with something before they want to move on. I don't think that's your case. I think whatever is set you off to kind of think about moving, I don't think it's anything that you're avoiding. I think it's playing a little bit of a part, but I don't think it's anything you're avoiding, if that makes sense. So, the decision ultimately is up to you. I do see that you do really look at it seriously towards the end of this year. So I want to say the first week of November actually is when and I think there's a date around that first week of November that seems to be significant to you as well, because that's where spirit, like your mum, just kind of just threw me straight to that. There you need to go then. But I'm excited in the same breath of you wanting to do a new journey for reasons that's not your mum and dad's, if that makes sense. Let me know how you think about that, Mina, because it was getting a little annoying. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know how you live with that half the time. Anyway, it's all good. Okay, we are running over because Thursdays I only go for an hour and a half, so I'm just going to do one more. And I'll say this before I get directed to someone. If I don't get to you today, please do not be offended. It's impossible for me to get to every single one of you every single time that I'm here. I can only ever see 4 or 5 questions or whatever comments on my feed at one time, because there is only me. and I'm not going to employ someone just to read comments as such, but I am mindful, and I'm respectful of everybody joining, and I do appreciate everybody that does jump on and join. It's it's awesome, and liking and sharing the feed is also getting the word out there, which is absolutely beautiful. I will get to virtually everybody at some point. As I said, please don't take it to heart that I didn't get to you today or on another day. It's more about, I am directed from spirit where I need to go, but also too, if you like and share the feed, it gives you a more chance of getting it. In the same breath, please also know that we can see that when you've shared. If you keep saying that you've shared and you actually haven't, we can actually see that. That's no disrespect to you. That's more about respecting what I do and what I'm giving to you, and playing fair for everybody else, if that makes sense. So I hope nobody has been offended by that comment or taken me the wrong way in that. That is more about everybody being respectful of everybody else and being respectful of myself as well. Yeah. I am here twice a week. I'm here Sydney time, Sydney Australia time. I'm here Tuesday nights from 8 p.m. till about 10:30, and on Thursdays midday, generally till about 1:30. Yeah. Okay. So let me know where I'm going here. Where are we going, Spirit? Where am I going? Where am I going? Okay. Crystal, I'm coming to you. I would like to know when I will receive financial freedom, as I'm waiting for a contract to be finalised. Thank you very much. I think you're putting a lot of stress on yourself, my love. I know finances haven't been great, and I want to say to you that I know finances have gone backwards rather than forwards. Stressing about the contract, throwing all that negative energy into yourself is not helping you physically, because I want to say to you that your sleeping is absolutely rubbish, and also too some anxiety is going rather high. And I'm feeling that because I actually want to keep going with this. So like to myself, I'm feeling like my own, like it's my anxiety is going up, but it's actually what spirit is showing me with you. So there's some pressure. I hate that word, but there is some pressure around this contract coming through. Today we hit, what's today? In Sydney time, it's Thursday afternoon. So I would say Sydney time. Oh, okay. Sorry, but I don't see it for another week. In fact, Spirit is showing me 12, so I want to say 12 days. Because Spirit just threw 12 at me, and it's certainly not 12 months, it's certainly not 12 weeks. It was very close to my face. So when it's close to my face, it's actually days and not weeks as such. So there still is a little bit of time, but will it give you financial freedom straight away? No, because there's some backlog of stuff that has to be sorted out first. But it will alleviate a lot of the stress, a lot of the pressure that you've been under, because I actually want to say to you, for the last 12 months, oh my God, my heart is kind of pounding in my chest. The last 12 months has, when I say roller coaster, it hasn't been a good roller coaster. It's been a roller coaster that's kind of put you off balance. It's put you in a mode of lack of trust. Do I believe what people are saying to me? I really need that contract to actually believe what I'm hearing. All these sorts of stuff. It's thrown you in rather a case of turmoil. The more you're saying that to your stuff, the more your anxieties are rising, because they're straight away, I just got all this massive amount of anxiety, and that's doing you no good at all. But also too, what that is doing, it's also throwing off to people in the public and stuff like that, is throwing off you, like in a different world, like your outer energy field is coming off quite cold. Yeah. Yeah, I need to really talk about that anxiety, because it really comes us like it's pounding in my chest. And with the greatest respect, I do understand that you've been under a lot of pressure, but having that much anxiety around you is actually doing you no good. It's actually throwing off your thought process and throwing off the good parts of your thought process. So I need you to, and whether you think it's higgledy-piggledy or whatever the case may be, that calming meditation comes to mind, that you need that sort of stuff to bring down the heart rate, to bring down the anxiety and come back to being you, just so your mind comes back to being focused. Because at the moment it's a little bit scattered, and I do say everything with respect, sweetheart. It's everything is a little bit, it's a little bit scattered. It's a little bit unfocused. But it's the anxiety that's fueling that, and I totally understand that you are under pressure. I get it. But if you can do some self-help with that, it will alleviate some of the issues to stop the subconscious going into the what ifs. I don't get this, what if I can't do that, what if this and what if that. It's throwing off too many what ifs. And I don't live on what ifs. I try and teach people to get out of that zone, because when you what if, you're catastrophizing the situation, yeah? So it's just, come back to you. And, the contract will come through. As I said, they threw number 12 at me. So it's obviously like, in 12 days or so that, that will come through. But check it before you sign it. Because sometimes when you're too eager because you've been waiting for it, I need you to read every single paragraph. I just need to make sure that everything's okay, because I'm being directed to page 3, paragraph 2. So again, I've got number 2. So just have a look at that. I'm not saying there's something wrong with it. What Spirit is directing me to, it may not be worded the correct way, which could come back and bite you at another time, yeah? So just need to be mindful of that. Just reread that paragraph a couple of times just to make sure it's perfect. And nobody will judge you if you pick it up and say, oh, this isn't written quite correctly, because they'll go, she's got a good eye. So they'll look at you in a different sense, yeah? So I hope that helps, and I hope that makes some of that stress and everything go away. So here we are at the end, and again, I want to thank everybody for joining. It's been a pleasure as always. I think everybody that knows me knows that how much I favour being able to connect with everybody and being able to bring messages through from loved ones and so forth, and to show you and to prove to you that they're always going to be around us. They're always going to come in with a message, which I always think is, wonderful. I'm honoured to work with Spirit, and I'm honoured to work alongside Spirit. That's where a lot of my stuff goes. And yes, Andrew, I agree with you. I was only just making kind of a comment, because we can see when people have shared, but it was only a flyby comment as such, to let everybody know that my time is valuable too, as much as everybody else's time that jumps on board and watches. Their time is valuable too, and I'm just kind of letting you know that I can't always get to everybody. It's just impossible sometimes. And other times, I can get through more, and sometimes it's wherever Spirit directs me. And even when doing readings, Spirit always directs me to the most important thing that you need to know right now. Alongside it, normally leads me to choose the people who really need. And I know everyone's going to say, oh, but I need to hear something today. But Spirit does always direct me to to people who are in real need of getting through today. Do you know what I mean? And I know that sounds a bit weird. And again, everybody, don't take it the wrong way. It's just impossible to get to everybody. And I should not continually be apologising that I can't, but yeah, I can't. Yeah. In saying that, I never read. I will have a great rest of the day. I hope you have a good rest of the day too. No, I'm not too tired. It's just a case of some spirits when they come in, and I'll explain that, because I don't normally yawn or whatever through a reading, but if a spirit comes through and the spirit is drained a little bit, that's the energy that they throw into me. And sometimes it only hits me for a split second and then I'm fine, and other times it doesn't hit me at all. It's just how Spirit just kind of jumps in. Yeah. And Crystal, you and you, I think every time you do, I was absolutely trying meditation to calm my spirit. Yep, that'd be great, Crystal, because yeah, as I said, there's just a bit too much going on there. So back to finishing up. I always get redirected somewhere else. Thank you everybody for joining. It has been an absolute pleasure. And as regulars know, but I have a lot of new ones here today. So again, I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate all the sharing. Please know I'm here every Tuesday. This is the Sydney, Australia time. I'm here every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. and I'm here every Thursday at 12 noon lunchtime. So I hope everybody can respect all that. I have had huge pleasure in reading for everybody today, and you've all been wonderful. I wish you a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you on Tuesday night. Okay? See you later. Enjoy. Love.